You never required to submit any program to NMC for approval. What you required was to obtain permission before you could run content services in electronic communications and understand content services. So I have just explained to you the difference between infrastructure license and content license in broadcasting. We have so many content delivery platforms emerging that are not necessarily spectrum based. So if you took your time, you would notice that we had IPTV that everybody had a lot of hopes about but didn't really materialize, which is the Internet Protocol Television, which is different from streaming. It's a complete production system. Then on Newsfile, I give the example of MTN Radio, which was running on short code 1303. Okay. In the UK, I gave the example again of Vodafone gain a lot of revenue from content services in the UK. What does that mean? In the industry, we say that innovation has moved from the edges of the networks into the networks. So at the global level, especially at the ITU, there was a movement towards a unified licensing where if anybody obtained the license, the person was to be allowed to do whatever his infrastructure to do. So MTN was running MTN Radio. At the time that we passed the law, MTN was actually running a pornographic site service on short code 1516.
You made this point.
All these were not things that they had been licensed to do, but they were coming into the broadcasting market. So the idea was that we shouldn't stifle innovation, but there must be a regulatory conversation. So if the telcos want to enter the broadcasting market, then they needed some kind of authorization in order to do that. And that is the content authorization that enables them to do that. So, again, we're hoping that because GIBA is an institutional member of NMC, again, they could trigger the necessary regulatory impact analysis before they enter the market.
So let's get some clarification here. Let's use an example. So what sort of content approval would multimedia come to NMC for if the LI had passed?
Yes. So all that it would have meant was that now multimedia has a license to use frequencies in Ghana. And licenses are not actually in licensing would, or if my uncle is still online, to avoid trouble with him, we would say authorization. So we won't say multimedia because each frequency is licensed differently. So let us say Joy FM.
Joy FM.
Okay. Joy FM has obtained authorization from NCA to do whatever it wants on 99.7. That is for the spectrum.
Right.
You now make an application to run content services on that license. You understand? So that is the permission that now binds you to all the ethical rules that you need. So the permission that you obtain from NCA only gives you responsibilities in terms of the technical rules. What spectrum you can use, which equipment you can use, how do you avoid interference?
So would Joy FM have to specify to the NMC what content they intend to broadcast?
So if you looked at the provisions, what you did was to provide a programs guide. In the broadcasting law that we are proposing, it is even stricter. It says programs standards. You understand? In this LI, we were only needed a guide which said that in the morning we have Super Morning Show, which is a magazine program, talk, reviews, and that. You understand? In the afternoon, we do sports. In the evening, we do that. The reason why, there are 5 reasons why globally we require the programs guide. You understand? But you wouldn't have needed even to show the regulator anywhere in the world that I will have a panelist to discuss this. Or no regulator needs that. So the programs guide, you understand? The permission that you were obtaining was only to bind you to ethical standards upon which, if you breached, the prescribed sanctions will apply.
So I'm just looking at